I'm truly proud and pleasure. It's a pleasure for me to welcome back to the show, Mr. Greg Jones. Hey, Greg, how are you? Is he still there? Hello. All right. Hey, welcome back to the show, Greg. It's good to hear from you.
Hey, yeah, how you doing?
I'm really, really well. I'm truly glad you're calling back because I think our first conversation was incredibly kind and civil, and I think we exchanged some good ideas. So I would really love for you to have an opportunity to say whatever you'd like to say.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that, I am working with, local FBI and local law enforcement, and I encourage you, have you talked to them?
I have not talked to the local FBI yet. I've actually talked offline to some, but I can't reveal to who I've spoken to. But I haven't gone through any official channels.
Well, I think that would be the best thing to do because they're here to serve the public and to answer any questions that the public has, rather than going back to a 10-year-old report. I'm sure they produce annual reports.
I'm sure they do. I also let me set the stage here a little bit. So what I've been talking about is the reason I shared the Fox News clip is because I saw the discussion about a group. It's called Jamaat Al-Fuqra, or it used to be. Now it's called Muslims of America. And as you go through and do the research, the history on this group is definitely one that has gotten the attention of intelligence groups. And during the election, Greg just made the comment. I didn't know very much about the group then. I asked you about him. You said, yeah, my dad and my couple of uncles, and I kind of grew up in it, but that's it. So I think it was fair to ask the question. And I think some of our callers are asking, they just want to hear. See, when I made the focus on this, it was about the media and it was about the group itself. And so, but people are now asking, you were a candidate for office. Now you obviously have definitely stepped into the limelight by coming to the assembly meeting and making certain assertions. But, people just want to know, in fact, what your positions are, what your thoughts are. And that's why I want to give you the opportunity to say whatever it is you want to say to anybody maybe who's listening, or to me. If you want to tell me something, you're more than welcome.
Well, of course, there's, all over the news these days, they're talking about fake news. And we have to be very careful. I think you have to go to a credible source. Go to the FBI, the local FBI. Okay, they will give you an up-to-date report.
Well, I'd be happy to. Greg, let me just be very clear with you. The fact of the matter is, the group, Jamaat Al-Fuqra, the Pakistani cleric Jilani, and the group now known as Muslims of America, has in numerous instances, numerous reports over the past decades, many decades, as recent as 2013, have been on different State Department and FBI documents related to the radicalization. Now, I never said you were a terrorist, nor did I say you lived on a compound. My point was anybody who has an association should with and is running for office should have the opportunity to speak. You did. I appreciated your comments. I was satisfied with your answer. But this doesn't change the fact of the history of the group. And I'm not talking about, something that happened 10 years ago. I mean, Pakistani cleric Jilani, who is the leader of this particular group, just last week called for members, or a couple weeks ago, called for members to go ahead and arm themselves because Trump was president. I mean, that is a fact. So my point is, I'm never, ever going to say, I've never had anything other than nice conversations with you, civil conversations. You seem very, very nice, very likable. I've never said any bad thing. There's no reason for me to cast suspicion on you. But as Alaskans, when we see a national story, and Fox News is not fake news, FBI reports, State Department reports are not fake news. When we see those, and we read even a 2013 report referencing this group, I think it's fair as a community to say, you know what? Yes, they say it, but that's not what I'm about. And so it's okay to say that. Even in 2015, Comey was making comments that in all 50 states, There's active investigations. And to me, listen, I don't care if it's a group like Muslims of America, if it's a group like the KKK, if it's a group like the Westboro Baptist Church. I think we as Alaskans should question all of them, and then you set your concerns aside and say, listen, I asked my questions, I got my answer, I moved on. Is that fair?
Okay, well, I'm a man of few words. Okay,
I'm not.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not going to try to out-talk you. All I want to say is there's nothing going on. The Muslims are not doing anything wrong, and you should talk to the local government authorities, and that's who the Muslims are working with. They are working with the authorities, and you should get an up-to-date report. And so that's all I have to say, okay?
Thank you so much. I think those are fair comments. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your call.